Change the reality of what we're saying. And we're going to do it like this.
Welcome to Champagne and Conversations, Dr. Karen. Happy New Year to you. Okay, I'm gonna turn my music off so we can get down to it. Welcome to Champagne and Conversations, the Champagne Brunch Edition.
Yes, and end of the year edition, right? The beginning of a new and the ending of an old.
Absolutely. Welcome. And guys, we are going to have an amazing afternoon with Dr. Karen. I do appreciate her taking time to spend with us. We're going to get through 2020 and prepare for 2021. As you all know, normally I love to wear my hats and I love to get dressed. But today, because we're having brunch, I'm just doing relaxed. And of course, my hair is still pent up just in case I do have some sort of Zoom party to do tonight. And I want to thank chameleonby.com for sending me the beautiful flowers. You can actually find all of the beautiful hats that I do wear on the website. So thank you. And welcome, Dr. Karen.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here at the end of 2020 and having some conversations about that, right?
Yep.
We ever really talk about what do we do and moving into 2021. Now, if I understood, you were going to be traveling during this time, headed somewhere in particular. You want to share why we're sitting here together?
Well, because I had to be here with you. That's why we're sitting here. But yes, guys, I was actually on my way out of here, bags and all, to Tulum. But I don't know, COVID and whatever. I was just like, I'm gonna have to wait on that trip. So the special, wonderful invitation at the last minute to get ready to go. I packed the bag, Dr. Karen, but I just, here I am.
Yes.
I'm here. So maybe you can tell me why I'm still here. Besides the freaking COVID.
Right. Well, let's do some unpacking. How about that?
Oh, unpacking. I was ready to go. Okay, well, we'll unpack. Let's go.
Awesome. Well, if we kind of do a quick recap of 2020,
Sure.
we have all, right, experienced so much loss. And I think sometimes we don't put that into perspective when we think about the loss that we have, experienced here in 2020. We have really physically lost loved ones, which is always very hard. But, we lost some freedoms. We lost some opportunities to speak out. We lost some opportunities to even, be clear about our stance. So there's been a lot of loss. I mean, we haven't been able to go places we want to go to, stay or see family. So all of these losses, for everyone.
Job losses, income losses for those that have businesses. Yes.
Absolutely. And all these losses come with grief. And I think we don't identify grief with this kind of loss as we do with losing a loved one.
Right.
But we all have to understand that when we're in the house and we're like, I just don't know what to do, or I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling, just displaced, that we have to understand that that is grief. And in order to manage that, we have to be able to identify it first. So
sure.
You always know I'm talking about emotional intelligence because, it is the most important thing, I believe, in leadership, let alone just something that a tool that we all should use in life.
But I pay attention. I do good in class, guys.
But it's so important to understand that grief and that knowing that when these losses occur, that it is
Sure.
tied to grief.
Right.
And in order to pass away from grief, we do have to, as I mentioned, emotional intelligence, understand and be aware that that's what it is.
Yes, and we got into that really early on in our sessions, which was back like July, August, and understanding that overwhelming feeling that we were having and not really being able to tap into what that was. Everyone was just kind of, getting through it, but still, like you said, it was suppressed. It was something that we just needed to deal with in order to be able to let it go. So, yes, to be able to go back to that and understand what was it that we lost, which we know everybody has different, accountability in that in terms of what we lost collectively as well. And then now being at the point where you mentioned unpacking. So what are we going to do? Just throw it out? What do we do with that?
Well, from if we look at it from the perspective of emotional intelligence, we're aware of it first, and then from awareness, then we have to go into regulation, and that means that we do have to just regulate and be clear about what it is, and that it is something that we can pass, that it will pass, that the feelings that we're having, the struggles that we're having, the misunderstandings that we're having, will all pass, but we have to be able to regulate and put it in the right places, and identify that these are things that we need to say, where is the growth in this? A lot of people have grown through this time frame.
Sure.
We have, but a lot of people have been very specific about saying, I'm going to do something different during this time of grief, of this loss. I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to read more. So there was a lot of wonderful things, of course, that have come out of this of growth, even through some tragedy. And that's the resilience of human beings, which is exciting, right? That we are all have our own spaces of resilience. But regulation is kind of what we say, what do we do? That next piece is regulation, that we figure out how do we regulate. And then for regulation, we motivate. We motivate ourselves. We figure out where's our optimism, where's our commitment to something, where is those areas that we can say, what's next for us? And that's where we have to really dig into those spaces. So from regulation, we definitely have to go to motivation. If I was to identify motivation, self-motivation in particular, as a theory, Dr. Geller, he really did a lot of work on motivation and actually a theory around and the psychology around motivation, self-motivation, based on the fact of we can go from, if you are able to say to yourself, can I do something? And you're able to answer yes to that. The next part of that is that, will this work? And if you can answer yes to that, and at that point, you've identified the self-efficacy that it can be done. So the last piece will be, is it worth it? And of course, the answers are going to be yes to that, because if you can say, can I do it? Will it work? The next, you have to say yes to the simple fact that,
absolutely,
right? And so
yes,
we go to next. So where do we go? We go to that self-motivation place and understanding that if we can ask ourselves those simple questions and they say yes to each one of them, then all what we have gone through is going to be worth it.
Sure. Now, one word that you've mentioned, and I've had to work on this probably for, I don't know how many months now, but clear. That has been, oh my gosh, like just being clear. And obviously, I don't know if that links to intention or not, but the clarity part is just, it has just been a driving force. Are you clear? Have you been clear? Is that contract clear? Is this clear? Is that clear? So I think that, for me, I will say that, of course, just having to work on that part has helped me to unpack some of the things that I sometimes just to spare other people's feelings or to just not have to confront that at that moment. Obviously I end up circling back to it, but ultimately just to be able to, just, it's okay, we'll figure that out later, is normally my approach. But now it's getting into, this is just what it is. And
yeah. And that's awareness is clarity.
Yeah.
Right. The moment you are able now to say, wait a minute, I got to pause and really be clear.
Sure.
before I move forward, that's that awareness piece that you got. Awareness is an amazing awakening. I'm telling you, the things that we don't think we're aware of until a conversation about awareness shows up at our doorstep and you start really having that conversation. Like, are you really aware of your emotions, how you feel about something? Are you aware that
of your surroundings? That is huge.
right?
Understanding the law of attraction and what is bringing certain energies to you. Oh my gosh, have I learned so much.
So it's so funny you say that. So kind of going into 2020, I subscribe to creating an inventory. And all my clients, I sing this song faithfully every December. And I mean it when I say it. I even have been very specific about saying, look, this is intentional, people. This is something where this is not a New Year's resolution, what I'm talking about, right? I'm not talking about, something that is gone here today and gone tomorrow. I'm really about being intentional about this inventory. And the inventory, as you know, Valencia, is called the persons, places, and things inventory.
And I had to look that up with my coffee this morning because that's the nouns, right? I was like, okay, I've heard that before. So yes, persons, places, or things. So now we're going to do inventory.
Yes, I just add the persons as a plural, but yes, there's no person, place, or things.
Yes.
Plural, absolutely. But definitely not in the form of sentence structure.
I know. I just heard that. I was like, I remember learning that somewhere.
In the form of people structure, right? It's in the form of our mental structure and in the form of our commitment to us and our growth.
Sure.
And that's really what this inventory is about. It's about saying, I am needing to do some purging. I'm needing to do some cleansing. I'm needing to do some cleaning for myself. And so the person, places, and things inventory represents a purge. So then that when we do step into the new year, we're stepping into the new year with a different mindset. And
without the baggage.
The things that we've added to that list, exactly, get left behind in 2020. And then we move into 2021, definitely with a new, a fresh and open mind. I create a theme for every year, and I really, again, take the time to process this opportunity to think of some theme that will really represent how we move into the new year. Last year for 2020, it was growth and elevation. That was the theme for 2020. Now, boy, did we grow and did we elevate in so many ways, some ways that we didn't want to, right? Because we learned a lot about our political surrounding that we weren't really aware of, no matter how long we've lived on this earth. We definitely have grown and stretched ourselves because we have all a pandemic. This is now going in our memory banks. This is now going in our history, right? To say, oh, girl, you remember that pandemic back in 2020? Where we had those conversations? Where were you in 2020 when the pandemic took place? I mean, no longer, as if you think about when 9/11 happened. Like that was a set time that it's a part of our history, a part of our own personal memories. And so 2020. So growth and elevation was the theme for 2020. And so 2021, the theme for 2021 is refresh, reset, and renew. And that's from the face of that. Again, we're talking about doing something differently, people. This is the time today to say whatever I leave behind from this person, places, or things list that I'll go into and elaborate on. But from that list into what's going to be, I have to be prepared for what's coming in 2021. And I have to prepare myself for growth. I have to prepare myself for opportunities. I have to prepare myself for how I show up in 2021.
Yes, how you show up. That is a big part. Now, that is my own personal, is how you show up. I love that. I heard it last evening and I was like, yes, that is it, how you show up. Because I think that with everyone in our growth, we've had to learn us or a new us or whatever it is. And so with that, you understand your presence and you're more clear on your presence. And so when we're unpacking our people and our places and our things. Now, are these things that have created trauma? Are these things that have created a trigger, so to speak? What are we in identifying as those folks that we need to kind of leave in 2020 before we move into the 2021 segment?
Mhm. So let's start. I mean, it could be a combination of all those things. So let's just look at the persons, right? When we think about the persons in this list that you're going to create, we're looking at persons who do not deposit. You know, we have a lot of people who do a lot of withdrawing from our accounts and deposit from our
I'm
accounts.
sorry. I didn't mean to choke, but oh gosh. Okay, carry on. That deposit. Go figure. Okay.
Are looking for, we have to identify these individuals who really don't bring good to us, right? That don't support us, that don't see our growth. You know, I really believe in building a village around us. You know, we always heard that term that it takes a village. Well, even as an adult, we still have to have a village around us. And the people in that village cannot be constantly subtracting. We need a village where people are going to support us, lift us up. We want people we want to emulate in that village. We want people we want to learn from. We want to be able to support those that are within the village. So these persons that you're going to put on this list are those who don't really fit in that village, that have maybe just been in there creating drama, who have been possible people that we have had a codependency with, right? It could be persons in there that we are enabling. It's a lot could be happening, and that we have to build this is that awareness. That's why we say we write this list and identifying truly who is for us. And let's focus on bringing those into 2021. And those that are not, and that those that don't support our growth, we really need to decide we're going to take a 12-month break. And there's probably some people in our village that we need to take a 12-month break from, right? And then I hear, of course, my clients say to me all the time, well, okay, it's my sister. I can't leave my sister, Dr. K. I can't leave my sister in 2020. I said, I know. That's why this list is about you. So then the question would be, what is your behavior? There's triggers. You mentioned triggers. So there are persons that, yes, we can't leave them fully behind in 2020, but we can leave our behavior with those individuals behind. We can choose to adjust our behavior so then that when they do pull the trigger, that our reaction is different, that we could commit to in this list, that will no longer let my sister do this, and from this, I do this. And that we're very specific about that and saying that I'm no longer going to allow this to happen, because when I move into 2021, I can't have this.
Right.
I can't have this person constantly getting me all worked up, or I can't have this person constantly saying negative things to me, or taking me down, or giving me dirty looks because I'm growing. And so you sometimes have to say, I need to adjust my behavior.
Right.
And this person's list is about some people that you will have to just get a break from, and some people you'll have to keep, but you're going to have to adjust how you allow that interaction to happen, and that you set your expectations around that relationship.
Whew. Y'all got that? Because that was a lot. I just felt it coming off of me as she was talking, and I've heard it before, and it still hit like, oh, okay. Now, so you got through the people. That was the hard part. So now the places. Okay, so what are we doing? We didn't go anywhere in 2020. What are we doing? Don't go to the grocery store.
The places can be just as hard.
What is that? Don't go to the grocery store. We definitely didn't go to the bank much. So what else? What else should we cut out? I don't know.
Well, I tell you, those are all necessities. So I'm definitely not talking about that when we talk about places. But what I am talking about, of course, physical places. There are physical places that we probably do want to leave behind. I'm probably going to pull a trigger right here, but sometimes those fast food joints that we keep going to, that we know it's not good for us, sometimes those are physical places.
The Chick-fil-A that I was going to go to after.
But it's a choice, right? These are all about choices. This is not about your own personal list. And if you say, I really just want to stop fried foods, so then you can't be going to the places where the fried foods are being made, right? Or you have to stop making them yourself. So that's a physical place. And those definitely exist that we might want to add to our list. Sometimes you're in a relationship and you probably are getting compromised by this relationship and you keep showing up on his couch. Maybe that place might be his couch. Maybe you need to stop going and sitting on that couch, right? This is those kinds of things that you have to decide that I'm no longer going to go to his doorstep. I'm no longer going to be in his car. I'm no longer going to be at her house. Sometimes we have to decide that that place may not be good. Doesn't mean you don't have to have your relationship. It just won't be that you're in a compromising position sitting on her or his couch. So that's a physical place. But to me, I think the most important one, especially during this pandemic, is identifying these places that we have gone to in our minds, these places of doubt, these places of I'm not good enough, these places of fear, these places of, the what ifs, right? The places of that, I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to amount to, or, this is never going to happen for me. Like these places that we go to, and then we wind up spending a lot of time in the self-doubt place or the fear place. And we're sitting and chilling in this place in our mind when things are happening around us. And so I'm asking to commit to saying, I'm going to leave this place in 2020. I'm not taking these places that hinder me into 2021.
Right.
Write this list. And my list is going to say, I'm leaving the place of fear behind. I'm no longer going to enter into that door. I gave an analogy yesterday when I was talking to somebody that just think of these places that every time you open a door, it keeps going down. Like that place, because it spirals into more negativity usually. Right. So if you open the door of fear and then there's another door, you open that door and you keep going down, down, down. And then the stairs to the doors get narrower and narrow. And eventually we're going to fall. So why go down that road when we know the end is not going to be positive?
Right.
So
right.
Purpose of it saying that calling these are physical things really makes them tangible for you.
Sure.
That's the places in our head is an intangible thing that you can say, I cannot go to that place.
Yes, yes, yes. So the clarity or the being clear and being aware and clear now become very close in your response to what it is that you're trying to offload or unpack for you to be able to grow and advance to the next and reset, because you're clear on what that is. So you say, I'm not going that direction, I'm going to go this direction. And I know even from myself that very often when there is a choice, very often you will choose that way because you're constantly processing the things that you didn't do or you shouldn't do, or you knew that that was something that was wrong. So you'd rather stay there and just keep having that conversation as opposed to saying, okay, enough of that. I'm just going to look forward to looking forward, and then doing the literal part of getting myself out of that space and into a new space. And that too comes with your village, right? Because if your village is strong, they'll propel you forward. They'll put you on the elevator up.
Well, they'll support you. I mean,
yes.
You got to push the button on the elevator, not them.
Oh, yes. Yes, you do. You do.
They could be there.
But they might hold the doors back, maybe.
But you still got to push the button.
Yeah, well, I'm pushing it. It's going up. I'm pushing it. So
places.
Yes, yes. So hopefully everybody got that in terms of, where we are with the unpacking part in the people, the places and things that we're going to leave in 2020. And let's take a quick break now and have you share all of your information in the event that those would like to DM you or get to your website for private sessions. I will say, guys, I am sharing my session that we would typically do today with you all. So this is my gift to you for 2020. So instead of me giving cars and keys, I'm giving out this session of refreshing and getting yourself ready through all that we've gone through and getting ready for a new year. So Dr. Karen, please give us all of your information.
Absolutely. The website is actually under construction now, but you still can go to the website and get some information. But a lot of the programs and things will be changing in 2021. But the website is www.mkcircle.com. And that's M as in Mary, K as in kite, the word circle.com. And for social media, it's just at drkaren.exec coach. And that's basically on IG, that's on Twitter. Facebook is drkaren.simeon McBride. But if you just start typing in Dr. Karen and dot, I'm gonna definitely show up. And that's all my social media. And then YouTube, I'm under Dr. Karen Simeon McBride as well.
Yes.
So that's how you can reach me. And yes, there's several different programs we offer. We offer, corporate programs. We do a lot of trainings with corporate. The executive coaching program is an amazing program. It really is. I mean, there's lives being changed. I mean, when people, well, what do you do? I say I'm an executive coach and I create emotional intelligent leaders, because leadership is across the board. Yeah. Leadership is not just about your professional career. You have to lead in your personal spaces as well as in your social spaces. And so executive coaching is really for every leader, everyone who believes they're a leader, and every entrepreneur, every small business owner, every executive, C-suite, all included, because I work with them all, to entry-level management. I just really believe all need an executive coach.
Sure.
I can't be all to all people, but I definitely believe that there are great programs out there to know that you have a support system and having a coach as a part of your village. Yeah. But I want to get down to the things. We got time to do the things?
Absolutely, because we got to get into the refresh. So we got time. Look, we're here for you. That's why I say, okay, I'm taking my time this morning. I'm not going to even rush to get dressed to go nowhere or just go to wherever I was going to do outside of where I wanted to go. So no, you take it away.
Well, the last part of the inventory is things.
Yes. Okay.
So we say things, we do things, and we have things. And so this inventory, again, is the purge, right, of things that we're going to leave in 2020. And so, we say things sometimes subliminally, sometimes we hide in using the word I can't. And we may say it's hard, or that's something I just don't do, or, and every time we disguise I can't, or simply say I can't, we decide that we don't want an opportunity. So the moment you say I can't do something, or I don't do this, or it's hard, you just said to yourself and everybody who's in the sound of your voice that I don't want any opportunity.
So what is that? If you're saying that, you're claiming that, so now you're kind of manifesting that. What is that? Is that fear? Or is that esteem?
Esteem is kind of the collective of all of those areas of positivity, but being out of esteem is where the fear shows up, right? So it could manifest in fear, doubt, worry. It could manifest in all of those negativity spaces that we go to in our heads that starts into how we verbalize what takes place.
And that behavior is coming from a situation that has occurred that has created that, or?
Definitely come from trauma. A lot of our generational trauma plays a part in how we speak and how we think. And what we're talking about here is shifting that, right? I don't believe in changing grown people, because I don't think grown people can change unless they choose to change. But
absolutely,
people can shift. I know we can understand something, and through understanding, we shift. And we realize that, wait a minute, I can do this differently. Doesn't mean it doesn't change who I am and my authenticity, but it does say that, you know what, I saw it this way, and that I'm open to see it another way.
Sure.
If you say I can't, you're not open to see it another way. Right? So that word is the things, a part of the things that we say. So we have to really do that inventory for ourselves. And what do I say that would be stagnating to me? Like, what are the things that I say on a regular basis? Like I had someone say, well, I don't fly. And I go, really? I said, did you have any traumatic situation where you don't fly? I mean, what happened? No, my parents don't fly. So they told me it scares. And I go, again, you just decided there's no opportunity, right?
Because and it could be a world of opportunity on the other side of that flight.
You, right? Flying can get you to places that driving can't get you. it's those kinds of things that we say. And you have your own things. I mean, the Johari window can easily give you the blind spot. We don't spend a lot of time over there because we don't know what it is. The people who are around us know our blind spots. They can even tell you that, oh yeah, you say that all the time. And I know this has happened to all of us. You go like, what? I do? Oh yeah, you always say that. And then you go, why is it a norm for me to keep saying that? It's like, well, it could truly be something that has triggered you to continue to say that. And like you said, it could be fear, it could be doubt, it could be a belief in yourself, understanding your value.
Sure.
All those things can pause you. So things we say. The other one is things we do. So we do that thing called, man, I should have did this. Man, I could have did this. Man, why didn't I do that? And we spend some time in that regret space.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I'm dealing with that right now at this moment. Like I should have.
Right. And that regret space is just stagnating all day long. It just stagnates us. We just can stand there and we can't even take a step past it because we too busy on the shoulda, coulda, woulda train. And we got to get off that train. That's just that thing that we do that we have to decide that we got to leave it in 2020. Because here's the thing, in the shoulda, coulda, woulda space, I don't subscribe to right or wrong answers because we make decisions based off the information we have at the time, right? So if the information we had at the time decides us for us to say, okay, yes, I should do this, and we do this, then we got to say, hey, I had everything that I had to make that decision. So I regret the decision because I had everything that I felt I needed to make the decision.
Right.
So it was effective at the time. So now I just say, when you're making decisions, think about the effectiveness of it and making sure that you have all information that you think you can have to make the most effective decision. Not the right decision, not the wrong decision, but just the most effective decision. Right for you, not right for anybody else.
And that part is one thing that I want to back up to, because you said that to me. If you have all the information, then you can make the decision. And it just made me think about, I thought I had all the right information, or I thought I had the information, but there were some parts of that algebraic expression that I did not have. And because of that, I had to put the brakes on it and back up off of it and say, give myself a minute. Because anyone that knows me know I'm 90 miles and running any given day. So I'll wake up with it, and by the end of the day, it's done. So it's just what it is. But that was very important that you said that, because it stopped me. That balance to say, hey, wait a minute, do you have everything that you need to make that decision? And honestly, I did not. I mean, I was making it lacking a few of the steps. So it's important to have that.
Right. Going back to clarity and pausing and really, really being intentional about our movement going forward, especially in 2021. We need to be intentional about our movement and strategic in a lot of times,
And so the word intentional, I know I hear it often. What exactly is that? Understanding your intention or stating your intention. Does that mean I am going to get a red sports car today, and that's what you set out to do, and that's what you do? Is that what intention means, or is it something else?
So that's a part of it, right? So being able to say, this is what I'm going to do, and my intention is that I'm going to move forward and do that. Your intention is also about setting expectations, right, for others. Because see, sometimes the intention between two individuals is simply the fact that I need to be very clear about what I am going to do.
Clear.
I cannot do. So then that someone else doesn't set an expectation for you with an intention that you're going to do it, and it's something you can't do or something you don't want to do.
Which then adds in the word agreement, that I'm not certain where that folds in. But for me, I've had to have all of that. It didn't stop in just the intentions. It was clear intentions and agreement. See where I'm going with that? I had to add a few things in there.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, it's really about I think intentional is really about, I want to do something on purpose. Like I am intentional about making sure every day is a good day on purpose. Because it's a choice. It's our choice. It really is our choice. We have the
Yeah.
choice to allow somebody to pull our trigger, or we have the choice to not.
Yeah, that's good. That even hits a little different when you have to think about certain things. Like you control your outcome in the day. And that starts from the beginning of the day on through. If it's something that affects what you want, then you just leave that there and keep moving. But very often we stop in those moments and everything just kind of derails us. And then we're still left in those moments and we never get to the intention because we've gotten derailed 2 or 3 times. So that's good. That is good.
Yeah, and see, that sounds like a things that we do, right? That's something we might want to put on the list, that derailing stuff,
Derailing, not getting easily derailed. Yes.
right? Sounds like a thing that we need to say, you know what, I do this, and I need to make sure that come 2021, I'm gonna be very clear about not being derailed by people, by myself, whatever is going to cause that, and be very specific about what that looks like for you, because this list is not about anybody else. This list is about all of us individual, our individual list about how we want to move forward. Someone asked me, well, should I tell people that I'm leaving them and you know, the people that I'm leaving them in 2021? I said, this is not their list. This is about you.
It's a memo. Just letting you know we are separating.
Absolutely. There's no announcements necessary. You know, it's about your actions and how you want to move forward. So yeah, you don't have to make an announcement. You know, I'm leaving you, I'm leaving you, I'm leaving you, because now we're moving into a passive aggressive behavior. That's not what this is about. This is not. This is about you.
Yeah.
You deciding that refresh, reset, and renew is your focus in 2021.
Yes.
And in order to do that, there's some things, some cleaning up I have to do. Right? We always clean up before people come over to our house. We always got to clean before people come. So all I'm saying is let's do some cleaning before we get into the party in 2021.
And we hope, we pray. I know hope is not a word because we have a different outlook. We are going to speak it into existence, manifest that it will be a great 2021. And I don't say that 2020 was, terribly bad. I mean, obviously we lost loved ones and we had financial hiccups and that, but ultimately in terms of us and being aware and growing, those things were necessary. And just before we move into resetting, I wanted to talk just a bit about just self-care. What do you suggest in terms of the self-care part? Because we had to do a lot of that in 2020.
Yeah, absolutely. Number one, I always say is about rest. This also 2020 gave a lot of people an opportunity to sleep and rest. But we don't realize that drinking water and sleeping is like the two main
champagne is like that.
two of the main.
This is self-care. Okay.
Is made up of 98% water. So we got to make sure that we're hydrating ourselves at any age, and we have to make sure we're getting the right amount of sleep. Every MD would tell you that, just like every PsyD would tell you that, just like every PhD would tell you that, right? That you must get the proper amount of sleep. And then if you have the opportunity to do some breathing techniques, we hold our breath a lot and really don't even realize it. I don't know, for those of you who have an Apple Watch, the Apple Watch will be like, you need to breathe because you're not breathing. And you'll think like, oh, that's just scheduled. Trust me, it knows the oxygen that's going inside of your body. And they're like, you need to stop holding your breath and you need to breathe. And so we need to breathe. We need to just take some nice, long, deep breaths. And inhale, exhale, and just close our eyes for a minute in the middle of the day, especially if you feel like you're out of esteem, right? Or especially when you feel like there's a trigger being pulled or you're frustrated about something, that the calm of your mind is so helpful in making decisions and so helpful in helping you resolve issues. But it's hard when it's racing. So if you could take a pause, and sometimes it's less than 10 minutes for you to take 3 deep breaths. So when you think about health and you say like self-care, To me, those three things are crucial. And then absolutely, anytime you can pamper yourself is always a good thing. Anytime you can pamper yourself. But I hear a lot of people say, I just got to get away. And then you get away and you're still worrying about stuff. So then what's the point of getting away if you're going to worry about it?
That's because you took that bag of stuff with you. So it's just there. It just took a trip. That's it. You have to be able to leave that up. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. If you're gonna take a vacation, take a vacation. That means mentally, physically, take the full vacation. You can't take a physical vacation and still take the mental baggage with you.
Absolutely. Oh, that was good.
It all has to be left wherever you go, away from where you're going. So yes. And so what we do, we got things, we got the things we do, another thing we do is procrastination, right? That's a big one. Because that one's tied to an emotion, of course, but procrastination.
What is the emotion of procrastination?
Oh, it depends. Sometimes procrastination because you don't feel like doing something because somebody that you don't like wants you to do it. So then now you have this, the emotion of anger is over there, right? Or the emotion of sadness because it ties to something that will make you feel bad about doing it or make you feel less than because you didn't do it. So sometimes it's tied to guilt, so procrastination is tied to a lot of things. And again, it's all personal. So we do have to kind of dig deep on that procrastination word. Sometimes I don't just put procrastination on there. Be specific about what you procrastinate about, because there's a tie to that.
That's good.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah. And the last one is, things we have. So, it's always great to purge, right? It's always great to purge our closets. It's always great to purge and give. I really believe in purging and giving. So then it's a good one. I get to feel good about purging, and then I get to feel good about that I'm giving. So if you can purge and give, that's a wonderful thing. But sometimes we just need to physically purge. There's clothes and shoes and furniture and just stuff that has probably been sitting in a corner in your house. And it's probably like, I really probably need to get to that pile of papers and just get rid of them, So, make a commitment to purge a corner, purge a pile. And then say, and I'm going to purge a pile a month until all of the clutter that you feel like you have or you want to get rid of is gone. But just making that commitment, it really is.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, as we've gone through all of 2020 and we've been able to put all these things in its proper place, even down to, whatever it is that you feel like you might need to purge personally and obviously emotionally, we're going to reset. Now, that part is what I am really interested in, what you say in terms of reset. Like, how do we do that after we've gotten to like, okay, now what? We're totally here. We're totally no makeup, hair pent up, everything's gone. I threw away the old slippers. I got new black slippers. I'm ready to go. Like, what are we doing? The old ones are gone. So what am I going to do?
You appreciate you talking about the physical, but me, I'm always in your brain. I really focus on what's going on with us and what's going on in our minds. And so, when I think about refresh first, then reset, and then renew, if I think about refresh, I think about a browser, right? You look at this browser and it's doing haywire, it's all haywire, stuff is not there. And then when you hit the refresh button, all of a sudden, all this additional information pops up.
Right.
Right. And so if we purge all of this stuff, now when
its browser is clean. Mm-hmm.
One, right? There's so much more. This refresh is about, where are the opportunities? Go find the opportunities. Whatever those opportunities are for you, be open to the refresh of these opportunities. And sometimes that may mean you already had an opportunity, but you got to revisit this opportunity for the refresh, because there's something more that we've missed because we had some persons, places, or things holding us back or standing in the middle, right? So that's kind of the refresh. And the reset is like your phone. We have our phone and, we have to do all the updates and all the bugs and blah, blah, blah. And they say, you got to reset it in order for it to work. You got to reset it in order to get all the new stuff. We got to reset to get the new stuff, right? We got to reset so our minds are different. Our thought processes are different. Our perceptions are different. Challenging our perceptions, challenging our mindset. I believe in growth mindset, right? Because there's an option, a fixed mindset and growth mindset. And I teach that, right? So it's about
Yes.
where is the mindset? How often are we in growth? How often are we in the fix? Because the fix means that we stay the way we are and that we're not about looking at anything that's different than what we do. But the growth is about where is the opportunities?
Yeah.
Where's the growth. So when we think about reset, it's like that phone. Once we reset it and all the new updates come in, let's go. Let's go.
And you apply that to not only but if you're looking to get into a new relationship, because I know there are those that are out there that want new relationships, and even new business partnerships. In order to do that, you've got to determine if you're ready to do one or the other. Are you willing to actually work through and actually grow through that, or are you just going to fix whatever it is that you feel like probably isn't broken in your mind?
Right. Absolutely. And, going back to the phone scenario, right? That, usually the resets are all about these bugs. And it's just about saying, again, that's that clarity piece, that's that awareness piece that, if something didn't happen, doesn't mean the way it was supposed to happen, doesn't mean you stop and you don't do it again. It just means that you have to look at it a different way. That's where the question part comes in. And having the openness to say that, this didn't work, but I think I could try it this way and this will work.
Yeah. Yeah. That's me moving the pieces on the chessboard.
It's that psychology of motivation is that if you believed it was going to work, then that means if this part didn't work, there's another piece of it that probably will work. And we got to keep pushing. We got to keep pressing.
Pushing and pressing. That's going to be 2022.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Pushing and
even though I started that in probably 19, but hey, it's still taking its time. So if we are clear on resetting and refreshing and renewing, now the renewing, that's the big piece, because what we know is renewing is buying new pillows for the sofa. What we knew in renewing is, painting a wall and giving ourselves an accent color. Are we doing that? What are we doing?
Right, a fresh coat of paint just makes everything better.
It brightens the day, that's for sure. So is that what we're doing?
I see the renew as looking at every morning that we wake up with that there's new opportunities, right? That there's new things that I can learn. There's new growth. So renew is about the opening of our eyes. And the opening of our eyes every morning, and that we will commit to seeing something new, seeing it as a renewed day, seeing it that it's a day better than it was yesterday. And that's how we get through 12 months. Every day is a renewed day. And opening our eyes and knowing that, and for those who believe and know that there's a God above us, that's the beauty of that. Right? Because he is the renew. He says it's new every morning. So we get to open up our eyes at the renewal space and saying that I'm looking for something that is fresh, that is open to me so I can go and get it. What is the saying? The world is your oyster. There's pearls all up in there. We just got to go and get them. But we have to have the right mindset to do that.
Which means that we have to unpack the 2020 village, if that is stagnant, because in order for us to see a new day, you got to get out of a negative space, of course. And that's just kind of like, we got to get that part, because the one part that I wanted to ask you, as it relates to people that see right in front of them, most often, it sounds great. From you guys' perspective, they say, you sit at a desk, you got a great life, you can give us all this wonderful information, but I don't see a new day. I see dark days. I see no money in my bank account, kids home all day in the Zoom classes. What they see here is not a bright day. So is that the unpacking part that we're dealing with, or, how are you renewing in that to be able to wake up and say every day is a refresh day?
Absolutely. But it goes back to what I said earlier. These are all choices. We all have had hard times. We've all, we all don't we don't walk into this world with the silver spoon in our mouths. We all have had our own levels of struggles. I mean,
Right.
you have the kind of time I have to be able to tell you about me almost dying, me having, major health problems, and me struggling and dealing with, failed marriage before I found the right man to have in my life. We go through, but it definitely comes back to it's all our choices. So the refresh, reset, and renew is all choice driven.
That's the big thing.
Have a choice. We really have a choice.
That's
We don't think we can do it by ourselves, then we need to go find somebody that can support us and help us to make the choice. But we have to make the choice. If not, we just leave in this earth. That's what's going to happen.
Right. And very often we know that what's here is just not necessarily the reality. We can control our reality because even when it's here, you can step away from that and create your own. Remember, we control. So if we can control, then you don't just always look here, and then you get creative to be able to get out of here, right?
Absolutely. And not even just to say that, you know what, I'm going to choose today to do it differently. I'm going to choose in 2021 to just do it differently. Like all of these things that I would normally do and get frustrated about or get angry about, but I'm just going to probably pull some of that personal connection to things out and really just say, you know what, I'm going to make choices for me.
Yeah, a conscious decision.
I hear what you're saying. People say, well, I got kids, I got this, I got that. So what are you saying? You're not an individual? You're an individual person. So you get to make still a choice about how you care for yourself, how you set expectations for you. That doesn't mean you can't not have your family. It's about dialogue with the family. We don't talk enough, and we don't have effective communication, should I say, because we do it, but there's not effective communication happening where expectations are set, conversations that really are meaningful, and saying that I need to tell you my vulnerability in order for me to be better.
Let me stop you there. Conversations, guys. That is the reason why we have this Zoom platform so that we can live on YouTube under Champagne and Conversations or Facebook under Champagne V, and you can sit in your quiet time, go back and get notes, whatever it is. We are here for the conversation. We're here for the information. And obviously for now, 2021, we want to be the renew and we want to be the resource that we can offer to you guys to be able to move forward. So that too is why we have this platform. We love IG. We thank IG for its lives. And we know so many people have made amazing opportunities there, but we like to go and be able to leave the information for you all to use as your library, to come back to it as necessary. So not to stop you, but it was just necessary as you mentioned conversation. So let's go with that.
Awesome. That's awesome. And so, that's the inventory, that's that inventory of persons, places, and things. And again, I created it for a replacement of these resolutions that unfortunately the data shows how failing they are to us. They're quite surface when I'm really subscribing to something that is very, very much organic, very much personal and intentional for you and your growth. Because that's what I want to see. Right. I want to see the growth of every last one of my clients. I want to see the growth of everyone who commits to saying that I want to be better.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I want to be the best me I can be. And a lot of that comes from really understanding who you are.
And showing up to be the best you, because I said that's my mantra for 2021 is showing up to be the best you. Right. And trust me, I have been that one that just kind of masked it, from building brands from behind the scenes, producing events and shows for others for behind the scenes for years. It's just been in my nature to just let other people live. And I just kind of either lived vicariously or I just lived. It was just okay. It wasn't, so to show up and be the best you in whatever aspect it is so very important, because then you feel like you're giving yourself just as much service as you're giving someone else. and you don't feel like, oh, why? Or you go into those little corners like, what's happening for me? Now, what I want to ask you from the reset and the renew of showing up to be your best you, do you put that with alignment? And if so, can you please touch on what alignment is?
So you say refresh, reset, and renew, and the alignment of those three?
Yes, the alignment of those three. What actually puts you into alignment? And is that what you are aligning in terms of those three things?
Yeah. And I don't want to subscribe an alignment just because that would mean that, of course, they're all in a row and all work at the same time. That would be beautiful, right? That would be that 100% that we're always in a steam and everything is going perfectly.
Yes,
but
in our mind.
I think you tap into each one of these at different times. I mean, sometimes you will be able to say, "Oh, I'm feeling the refresh. I'm feeling the renew and the reset. I'm in it. I'm feeling them all." Some people might say, I'm just gonna focus on just trying to reset. I'm just gonna go with that whole concept of the phone, and I'm just trying to constantly see where my opportunities are and reset for those. And then with renew,
sometimes you just gotta upgrade. Just get something new.
I'm going to open my eyes and say that, okay, I'm going to do today for me, or I'm going to do today differently, or I'm going to seek out this. A vision list is a good way. I guess that's a good way to kind of bring them all together, is kind of creating a vision list. And I know you've all heard of a vision board, but I would say a vision list. And some of these are goals that you can actually obtain, because really attainable goals are really good, because you need to be able to check a box for 2020. Yeah. I would say on that vision list, create a couple of goals that are attainable, but then also create some goals that are your visions that you have to reach a little bit more, or stretch a little bit more, and making them about you adjusting how you operate with people or how you show up, but also make them about some things that you want. So you have something to strive for. Everybody's not always motivated by a physical thing, right? Sometimes it is about, I just want to be a better person, or I want to be a better listener,
or be in a better place. And not only just physically, but just in a mental better place.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I would definitely recommend a vision list. It's definitely like a vision board, but it's just kind of writing out that list. And then the goal of the vision list is to make sure you see it pretty much at least as often as you can. If you can see it every day, that'd be great. And I say see it every day means that, our subliminal mind eventually will fade things away. So you can have something in front of you on your bathroom mirror, I would say. You take that to your bathroom mirror. In 3 months, you're not going to see it anymore. It's actually going to just kind of blend into the mirror, and you won't be able to see that anymore. That's just how smart our brains are. So I recommend that if you write that vision list and things that you want to accomplish in 2021 or even beyond, then you have to move it around. So I would move it from my bathroom mirror to the refrigerator, leave it there for 3 months, and then move it from my bathroom to my bedpost, and move it around for, pretty much every quarter, right? So that
right.
An opportunity to see it on a regular basis, because manifestation, as we all know, I mean, that's why the vision boards work. It really is about our visual, and just like this list, physically writing this list is a part of the action that's necessary for things to manifest. Okay. And then I also recommend that after you write that list, that you verbalize that list. The 31st is today. So before that clock strikes midnight, that you verbalize your list and said that I'm leaving all of these persons, these places and things in 2020, so then I can move into 2021, refresh, reset, and renew, and make that intentional effort to communicate that out. So a vision list is a great way to kind of help you think about the alignment, to be able to identify some things that you do want to accomplish in those spaces of refresh, reset, and renew.
Yeah, I actually attended in February a vision board class where we manifest what we wanted. So it was more called a destiny board as opposed to just a vision board. And I do think that I hit that. I think that, and actually I was, I'm always acting crazy. So I actually wasn't even fully engaged at that point. I let all the other participants really get into it. And I'm going to circle back to those folks because that board was interesting. Mine, I did later on. And I do think that I hit it all, but I'm going to ask those that were participating, how well did you fare on your vision board for that particular event? Because they were all engaged. Everything was like, ah. But for me, I was just like, we'll figure it out. I think I had one thing that I really wanted to concentrate on. That didn't happen, but oh well, I guess I had to unpack some things to get ready for that part. And before you leave us, Dr. Karen, because again, I know you have a busy schedule and it is New Year's Eve, and we are excited about this whole transition. But why do we wait until today to create all of the list for the next year?
Right. That's a good question. I think it is traditional too. So there's a lot of traditional and societal norm pieces in there. That's what this whole resolution kind of thing has started.
Right.
I do it symbolically for the fact that I think it is a good time for end and new. So you have an ending point and you have a beginning point, right? So this day is the 31st. The next day, not only is it a 1 for the first of the year, but it's also a new year. So another a transition happens. So it really is about transitioning and moving from one place to another. And then during that, we always do that. We'll say, oh, right before my birthday, I want to do this, right? So it's those kind of milestones for us that we can actually kind of stamp down in the books that, I went from here to here, and this is what took place. And, we're all human. And so humans are all about hope. It is there. That hope of things are going to be and what we're looking for. I mean, we call it faith, right? Those things that are going to be. And so it gives that transitional and, kind of a stamp in time for us. And so I think that's why December is always that time, and the 31st being specific of, December 31st and moving into the new year. So it's really just about transitioning into something and being able to say, I'm going to start new. It's an opportunity to start something new.
And obviously outside of that, the biggest word of it is being intentional. So if you already set those intentions in place, then you're clear on what you're going to have in the next round, be it the next week, the next month, whatever. Now we are upon 2021, and we will see what that all brings. And in the meantime, we thank you so much for joining us on Champagne and Conversations, guys. This is Dr. Karen, and please visit her website. Make certain that if in the event you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, that you address her so that she can give you what you have asked for, I guess, in that regard. But we do appreciate you, Dr. Karen, for joining us.
Thank you so much, V. I appreciate it. I enjoy these talks that we get to do. I mean, not as often as I would love to be on the show more, but
yes, we know you're so busy all the time. So yes. And I am going to play us a little something. Look, I was trying to do that and coordinate everything, but I'm going to play us a little something for us in the new year. Guys, happy 2021. And we look forward to all of the amazing things that we will reset, refresh, and renew. We'll have Dr. Karen back, don't you worry, but please feel free to reach out to her if you need to. And God bless everybody. Thank you so much.
Take care.
I see that thing.